Hi everyone, we're back. In our final segment, we're going to visit two sister cities, if you want to call them, because they're so close. We've got Bludhaven, and if I'm mispronouncing it, someone please correct us, because we tried to look up, Josh actually tried to look up the proper pronunciation. He couldn't find it, so if we're butchering it, it's Bludhaven. I'm sorry.
It's comic books.
Yes.
They never talk about pronunciations in comic books.
No,
we don't know how to pronounce Ra's al Ghul either. I mean, if we knew Arabic and we knew German, we'd be golden. Who knows? That DC might not even know how to pronounce it.
It just depends on the artist and writer and the editorial.
Yep.
And then we're going to get to Gotham in one of the best scenes that we've seen in a Batman book in quite some time. The Nightwing number 14, Bludhaven finale. This story arc really kind of set up Nightwing in familiar turf. And what I mean by that is, pre-52 Nightwing, he established himself in Bludhaven. That was his base of operations, where he's still part of the Bat team, but he ventures out on his own. When he met up with Superman a few issues ago, he was talking to Superman, and Superman was telling him, well, my Nightwing went to Bludhaven to kind of find himself. And that's where Nightwing goes to Bludhaven, thinking he's going to get a fresh start. Well, no, because one, there are a cast of characters called the Runoffs, and what they were, they're a group that named themselves the Runoffs because they were runoff Batman villains that were run out of Gotham and hoping they could make a new start, a fresh start, a positive start somewhere else, so it was Bludhaven. Dick Grayson is trying to find out a more civilized life for himself, so he becomes a counselor for a nonprofit, working with people, and it turns out he's working with the Runoffs. And there is an underbelly of corruption within Bludhaven that forces Nightwing to be Nightwing, and they find out some of these characters he had taken down before, but it didn't seem like their motive, their MO. They were getting framed. So nothing really changes for Nightwing, for Dick Grayson, except the location. They wanted to build a marketing campaign about getting people to Bludhaven. So they built it around Nightwing saying, hey, we have our own superhero keeping us safe. That didn't go over very well with the local authorities and detectives there, because they felt like, all right, he's getting all the press. So already there's a lot of elements in the series, and what it boils down to is nothing really changed.
Yeah.
It was still normal for Nightwing. Normality, new city, same old problems.
He realizes that the Runoffs are being framed for a lot of these crimes. He finds out that one of the sort of advisors or supporters for that group, Jimmy Nice, the most ironic name in the entire world, is actually the guy who's been committing these crimes. And he's been using various secondhand weapons, ironically gotten from a group called the Second Hand, and he's been, essentially he's just gone nuts. The entire nice guy facade was just a facade. And he realizes that Nice explains that he kind of realized everyone is just monsters in Bludhaven. They mention that a few times about Bludhaven, is that that's a city that you give it your everything and it throws you to the wolves. And Nice starts to realize that, okay, nobody's worth saving. They're all terrible people. And he says that Nightwing has to see the same thing.
Right.
I mean, he doesn't know Nightwing's backstory, but he knows that something bad has to have happened to him to make him go out and wear spandex and fight crime.
Yes.
And Nightwing says, no, that means people do bad things because they're people. They're not infallible. They are fallible. And that we have to keep them on the good track. We have to hope for them to do the best.
Yes.
So it's an interesting theme in this issue, because that ends up being sort of what keeps Nightwing in Bludhaven. Is people. Is that it's the people of Bludhaven that he can protect and sort of have that more of like a nurturing image than Batman has. I mean, Batman's the guy who prowls around rooftops, and he's sort of mythical to the city. He's not really seen. He's not really. I mean, there are people in Gotham who don't even think Batman exists, and yet here's Nightwing is kind of more of a positive Batman for the people.
Exactly. At the very end of this issue, we have a status quo of Dick Grayson is now the day support counselor. of the group of the runoffs, showing him that he cares. We have the ad campaign canceled by the mayor and the police force for bringing too much attention.
It's also worth noting the organizer of the ad campaign and the mayor were both involved with that whole kerfuffle before. So yeah, no more ad campaign for Nightwing.
Also, Dick Grayson starts to develop a romantic relationship with, what was the lady's name?
Sean Sang.
And she was actually a former villain, if you want to call her. Do you remember what her name was?
I don't know. I didn't catch most of those names. I didn't hear hers. I only heard her referred to as Sean for most of that.
Yep. It was one of the spray paint.
Yeah.
At the very, but at the very story arc, Batman and Robin had taken her down, and Robin had kind of made a connection with her. And when they were leaving, Dick Grayson he wanted to say something to her of, hey, I'm secretly Nightwing and da-da-da. But he said something else, and that's when Sean said, look, I know who you are because a little Robin told me. Kind of basically saying, you showed me that attention when you're Robin. You're showing me that attention now. They start a romance. And so we see that Dick Grayson, Nightwing, is really putting roots down in Bludhaven. But then we kind of get something that's a little bit odd. We see out in the distance, late at night, a character who says, well, you decided to stay. There's only room for one of us. Which kind of noticed that he had long hair. Kind of noticed that he had a red Nightwing suit. Is there another Nightwing floating around Bludhaven?
Yeah.
Is there another Nightwing in this DC Rebirth universe?
Yeah.
And does he have a collar? What is going on here? What do you... collar jokes aside, is this an alternate reality Nightwing? Is this an evil Nightwing? What do we got going on?
Yeah, or just a guy trying to be Nightwing? I mean, this guy Nightwing had a full ad campaign for a while, so a lot of people got exposed to Nightwing. Maybe this guy tried to go with the red. Look, what it did make me think of is just seeing him in red with the longer hair made me think of, I don't know if you've played Injustice Gods Among Us.
I have not yet.
But the alternate reality version of Nightwing in that game is actually Damian as Nightwing, and he calls himself Bloodwing, and he wears the red, and he has long hair, and it just like kind of made me think, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a sort of like that. I doubt it's. I mean, it's not going to be an alternate universe older Damian. If it is, my head will explode. Maybe this could be some deranged guy. Who knows? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see, or. Maybe it is some other alternate reality Nightwing. Maybe an older, maybe crazier Nightwing. I mean, who knows how long he stayed in Bludhaven? It's not a very nice town.
Yeah, we don't know, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Nightwing series starts a new direction for Nightwing, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's Nightwing. Batman number 16, I Am Bane, Part 1.
Psycho Pirate is once again back in Gotham. Batman and the little Suicide Squad have gotten him out of Santa Prisca. He's back in Arkham Asylum. And Batman needs him there to to help Gotham Girl get back to normal. He needs just 5 days with the Psycho Pirate to get Gotham Girl back to normal. Who doesn't want Psycho Pirate there? Bane. Bane is doing everything in his power to get Psycho Pirate back.
Yes.
And that means sending assassins. He sends in one assassin to take out Batman. Bronze Tiger ends up saving him.
Yes.
Because he was there at the right time.
And the reason was because Psycho Pirate helped cure Bane of his addiction to venom. And Bronze Tiger had to use some venom during that I Am Suicide story arc. He was going to try to get cured from that. Did you notice that when the guard was smiling at Batman, he had etched in his teeth, I Am Bane?
Oh, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, he did. It took me a couple reads. I was looking, thinking, why would they show that guard smiling? And then I looked, and it was etched in his teeth, I Am Bane. And that's why Batman punched him in the next panel, punched the teeth out. Bane is coming. And with what happened last time with Tim Drake, Batman isn't going to have any of the Bat family around.
Yeah, he's taking a sort of ultra-protective stance for the entire Bat family. So he gets together with all the Robins and former Robins and Duke, but it's not at the cave. it's at a restaurant.
Yes.
It's at Bat Burger.
What is a Bat Burger?
Apparently, it's I'm assuming a chain based on Batman. And apparently Bruce Wayne has never been there before because he's not happy to be there.
No.
Especially when they ask him if he wants to jokerize his fries.
That was hilarious. The artist that drew those panels, they conveyed an awesome sense of disgust and disdain.
And rage.
Yes. You see the symbols all around on the top wall of everything. You see how they've named their menu, how they've put the symbols up around like Ivy salad, not poison. It was awesome. Then you get to the table, and you have Dick Grayson, you have Jason, you have Damian Wayne, you have Jason Todd, and then you have Duke come sitting there. And then you have Bruce Wayne right at the front, taking a fork and a knife to his burger.
Yeah.
That was awesome, but you liked the other interaction between the Robins.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's Dick who gets Damian basically the Bat Burger equivalent of a Happy Meal.
Yes.
And Damian says, "This is not what I ordered."
Yeah.
And Dick says, "No, it's fine. It has a toy in it."
Mm-hmm.
And as Damian's kind of pawing through it, he says, "If this is a Red Hood toy, I'm gonna lose it."
Yeah,
and of course, a couple panels later, he pulls it out. And it's a little Red Hood, and he's just so ticked. And they even try to say, "Well, if you don't want the toy, we'll take the toy." And he says, "No, the toy is mine."
It's my toy.
Yeah, it's one of the best written ones, because especially with the when he's eating the burger with the fork and knife, that's right after he explains that Bane is coming.
Yes.
And Duke says, "Oh my God." And his eyes look down at the burger, and he says, "Is that how you eat a hamburger?" It's great. And
it was awesome too. Was the toy's mine? No, the toy's mine. They make fun of him.
Yeah.
And Jason Todd said, I shouldn't be doing this, eating Jokerized fries with crowbar and all. But I thought I'm just being a rebel.
Yeah.
The interaction was great.
Yeah.
Between
Nightwing says, "Oh yeah, that's because you're the bad boy of the group."
Yeah. But boom, Bruce Wayne seriousness comes out as boom. Bane is coming. I don't want you here. Well, aren't we going to disobey your orders anyway and team up and take him down? No. You can take a mask, go somewhere else. Don't be in mask, but you will not be around, especially what after happened with Tim Drake. Bam. You can see he is dead serious about that. I will have no one else die. He walks off. And then that's when Dickens says, well, we're going to just disobey him and help him out anyway. Duke doesn't want to say, hey, if you Robins all want to die, so Damian's come back from the dead. Jason Todd's come back from the dead.
Yeah, which Duke didn't know.
Right.
Who sits there and says, wait, you've both been dead.
Yeah, and Dick Grayson hasn't been dead.
Yeah.
And Duke doesn't want to have none of that. I don't want any of your crazy schemes, because I'm not to be a Robin, I'm out to be something more, something different.
Yep.
And one thing we got to talk about, the funny part, they said we could met up in the cave, but we got tired of Alfred's cucumber sandwiches.
Yeah.
And Bruce said, don't ever let him hear you say that, or you will hurt the man's feelings beyond repair.
Yeah. Well, and the reason they wanted to get him out of the cave was that Bruce, always says it's at the cave.
Yep.
And then when he sits down and says, well, I don't have very much time. And Dick says, you never have very much time.
Exactly.
It makes it feel like it's to get that sense of family that they are. I mean, it's a very strange, very, very weird family that doesn't necessarily get along, with a lot of bickering between the, all the former Robins, but it is a family that seems to get along.
We go back to the Wayne Manor, and he talks to Alfred of what's happened, and he said to Alfred, I don't expect you to leave because I know you won't. They take Claire. They're going to go every night to Arkham to get the 5 sessions. They go down through the Batcave, and Claire freaks out. Alfred is very unnerved, and so is Batman, Bruce Wayne, because we see, hanging in the Batcave, we see what appears to be Jason Todd in his Red Hood mask. We see Damian in his Robin mask, and we see Nightwing in his Robin mask, all hung, presumably dead, with written, I am Bane, on their chest. Whoa, what a start to that issue.
Yeah.
Bane is not messing around at all.
Yeah, presumably they're not dead, but that's the three who'd stayed. I mean, Duke's not there.
Yep.
So, yeah, Bane usually always means business. He really means business in this story arc.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what else does he need Psycho Pirate for? I mean, he already cured himself the dependency on Venom.
But he took it back afterwards because of Batman beating him.
Oh yeah.
He took it back, and the fact that Batman beat him, Bane isn't going to stand for that. This is a very vicious Bane, and I don't think we've even begun to see what's in store for the Bat family with Bane and the Psycho Pirate, and whether Gotham Girl's gonna get cured or not. She might not. They might not be able to protect Psycho Pirate.
Yeah, especially if that's 5 days. This is day one, and we've already seen one assassination attempt in what looks like, Batman's three closest buddies getting killed.
Yep.
So.
Bane has gotten to Gotham. He's gotten closer to Batman, because Batman had said that. Now he's even closer than ever. And we'll see what happens. That will wrap up this episode of Comic Book Cove. Whew. A lot of normalcy in the DC universe, meaning chaos is always chaos is the norm. Your thoughts on any other thoughts on any issues?
Well, this is a few new story arcs wrapping up. I mean, just starting out. We have quite a few more still in play. I mean, Green Arrow's still doing his thing. Cyborg's still trying to save his dad. At some point, he's going to save his dad, I hope.
Yes.
And again, I cannot get over how good the Batburger scene was.
Yes, exactly.
That's still maybe the favorite thing I've seen in all the DC Rebirth titles. I mean, that sticks out to me. It's just one of the coolest things they've done. And sometimes it's just those really simple scenes when you can have, you don't necessarily need a huge giant fight. Sometimes just take them out of the costume, put them somewhere they wouldn't normally go.
Exactly.
Like Bruce Wayne at a fast food joint.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Now we need to see how he eats pizza. Does he use a fork and knife with pizza?
Probably takes little bites and little bites, rolls them out.
and they blame that on Alfred too.
Yes.
That's the raised by the butler.
The cucumber sandwich maker.
Yep.
Well, for this episode of Comic Book Cove, if you have any suggestions, any feedback, want to see us review, discuss any other titles, or any thoughts on the titles we discussed, please drop us a line at our Facebook site, Delve Into the Void, and our YouTube site, Delve Into the Void. So for this episode of Comic Book Cove, this is Lady Margot Elise.
Oh, I get to go first again. This is Josh Holderbaum.
And I'm Tom Morris. Actually, you went second. So Lady Margot went first.
Sorry.
We'll
first
see you.
Human.
Yes. I'm afraid I cannot compute. And we will see you next episode of Comic Book Cove.